Okay, this video has been a long time in coming. This is going to be on essentially my erector set of things that I use. It's essentially mainly talking about Arca clamps and Arca plates. Some people might be familiar, other people who have always been in the Manfrotto system may not be familiar. But I pretty much use the Arca system to attach my cameras to tripods of that. So if you think this might be interesting, and I think you might actually find some of it interesting, please stay tuned and we'll be right back. Okay, today I'm going to be talking about all little bits and pieces of how I mount my camera onto tripods, how I cage my camera, essentially all the bits and pieces, because I don't buy like I had people go, oh, why don't you put a cage on the camera? I don't like cages because I am both a photographer and a videographer. So when I'm doing photography, I don't want to be encumbered with a cage around my camera. So let's get into it. The base of the system that I'm talking about is the Arca Clamp. And this is a Arca Clamp, a cheap Arca Clamp. Usually pick these things up for like 10 bucks on eBay. The simplicity of Arca Clamp, and even like cheap clamps, work pretty well. And here is a plate from actually Faisal, little tripod head I'm using. In lieu of my regular setup. I'm a little bit at odds here trying to figure things out because I'm out of my comfort zone because I've taken all my parts that I rely on and I've put them on my table here so I can show you, and kind of did as best I can with my camera without them. So the plate slides on, if you can see, but it has basically milled in at an angle, and then the plate slides right in there. Very similar to a lot of other things, but to me I find it to be a superior method of doing this stuff. And when you put them down, they're just rock solid. So that's the basic clamp. Now, let me, if I can remember what I did with it, bring my tripod up here, because we'll cover that first. What I did is I have used a clamp that comes from SmallRig, and it's essentially about the size of a tripod base up here, and this one's already on here. And essentially what it allows me to do, and why I like this, is because I am a photographer and a videographer, not just one or the other. Not sure what it's going to focus on here. I use different kinds of heads. Let me get closer to it so they're both in focus. So sometimes the photographer in me wants to use a ball head. Boom, ball head on. I'm fully operational. I can do whatever I want. So probably have it like that, but I'll show it to you like that so you can see me putting it on. Super solid at that point. And on the top of my head I have what is called a fishbone. Not normally what you would put up here, but actually, even though this one is much narrower, it's still really strong. So no issue there. And this is a very old Acrotech, I believe is the name, ball head. Love it. Super trooper, been around for a long time, or been in my kit for a long time. But being that I am also a videographer, sometimes I want a traditional video head. And boom. Now I have a, in this case, inexpensive video head. And again, You can see it. It's inexpensive, but they're pretty good for the money. More than I need for what I do. Yes, maybe some $5,000 heads are super special, but this one will do the trick. And then boom, I can go with it, whatever. And put that out of the way. If for some reason I want to, I can actually take my camera, because it also has a Arca style head on it, and this one is, which happens to be the same. I can now just put the camera directly on it. Now, don't know why you would do that, but it's there. You can, if you want to. I should probably like bring this up, or I wish I could get it a little lower. All that stuff is great. Let me see, maybe I can use a smaller tripod. So let's get this guy out of the way now that I have showed you, because now all my tripods have one of those on top of them, including monopods, so I can move things around wherever I want, whenever I want. Easy peasy. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, I think I have a way to show this here. So I went ahead and put my video head on here. Let me go ahead and put this down so it's not whacking me. And because a lot of the things that I'm going to show you are things that kind of I use for video. Now, one issue I have is that if I go to put this one on with the camera, the way this was designed, this little thing hits the camera. But it hasn't been a huge problem, because what I do is I put the camera onto this plate here, which is what they call a nodal plate, because it allows you to put it in. Now I can put the camera anywhere. So essentially its original purpose was for you to be able to put your camera and place it right at the nodal point of the lens for doing stitching together. But another thing it's good for is if I have a heavy lens on here, in particular since I have the Fuji here. I've done some videos on the Fuji 7300. 7300 does not have a lens foot. It's not really a big deal because it's not particularly a heavy lens or anything. But what I can do is when my camera is on here, I can mount it further back, and now the lens is more at the center balance point. So that's another kind of, it's like putting a foot on a lens that doesn't have a foot. If that makes any sense to you. But there you go. So that's one thing that I do a lot with these. And let me see. I should probably get into the next phase. Now, another thing I do is I have several different, this is like another cross plate that I use. And again, it is an Arca plate, a very long Arca plate, and then I have attached a quick clamp to it. So I can put my plate in there. I can decide wherever this is the best, and then I can hook my camera on there. And you may be thinking, why? And if I want, I can center my camera. I also have one of these. This is from SmallRig, and this will take me from the micro HDMI to a full-fledged HDMI. I mount that here. That takes away the stress of me pulling on the cable when I want to use a full HDMI, so that I'm not pulling on these micros, because regrettably both the X-T3 and the Panasonic S5 have micro HDMIs. Go ahead and lower this because it's So we're going to start to get big. We're building. Now, like I said, people have said, why don't you use a cage on your camera? Cages are good. If I was doing video 90% of the time, 100% of the time, I probably would get a cage because there's a lot of benefits to have it. But I don't. So I have another cute little thing I created. What I did is I took a holder and I put one of my Fishbone Arca clamps on it, and because this has Arca milling on the plate, both top and bottom, things can be hooked to it either side. Important detail. So I can put this here if I want. I can even mount my flash up here and take this out. I have a little handhold setup. But it goes further than that when I'm doing video. And this cute little guy. And this is what is referred to in many different ways. Being that I come from New Jersey, I will call it a Picatinny Rail. I'll go ahead and have this not in my face so much. And to those people who own guns, this might be more familiar because I made this one up. This is literally what they call a Picatinny Rail or a Nato rail. I think it was invented at the Picatinny Arsenal in New Jersey. I used to live really close to it. Boy Scout, we used to go camping at Picatinny. So this is a Picatinny rail. I think Nato adopted them so it became a Nato rail, and these attach to guns so you can put your scopes and whatever on it. Well, camera community said, hey, that's a neat trick. And I don't always need these big old ass clamps down here, these big Arca clamps, when I have little stuff. And this is my big rail, but if I only have like a few things I want to attach on my camera, I can actually put this one into the hot shoe. Now I made this one, but you can buy them pre-made like that. So, and the difference between this one is this is a single rail because it was designed for a gun. This one is a quadruple rail. So it's got a rail here, a rail here, rail here. So I can stick it into this clamp. And now it gets fun. If I need to put a microphone on here, I can slide on a microphone holder. It's getting high there. If I need, for some reason, sometimes I need to put a little camera on here to see what's going on, and I can slide that anywhere. And because this is a four-way, I can put it on here. I can put it, oops, almost dropped it there. I can put it on here. I can put it on the back. So, and then clamp it up. So high, I can't see everything that's going on up there. And if I want, I can take this off and I have my gear. Now gets the fun part, one of the things that's really important to me. I made up one. Now I want to go ahead and detach this. Okay. This one is made up of essentially a Nato clamp and a little SmallRig attachment. I'll put the numbers down below when I get a chance. And then on the other side I have another Nato clamp with these little ball attachments attached here. And this is what I call my little scorpion tail. And what it is great for is, one of the things I use it for is I put it on here, and then I have it so, make sure I get it the right way, not that it really matters for this. It's got a little protective buttons in here so it doesn't slide off the rail. Okay. I put my little Ninja 5 on there, and with these, once I loosen up these guys, sorry, this is all kind of awkward, this one's tight, I can put this in all sorts of, so I can put it on this side, I can put it on this side, which is great when I'm filming myself, and once I tighten those up, it's pretty solid. So when you're looking at me, I'm usually looking at that, which means I'm looking straight at the lens, which is great. I suppose I could put type on there if I scripted anything. Wouldn't that be novel? So as you can see, and then again, still, I can take this off and I have the full thing and I can walk around. But it doesn't stop there. So that's why I don't use a cage, because this, to me, is a better cage. And if I need to put a phone up here for some reason, I got another clamp here. Put that on. Got another one of my scorpion tails, and that'll hold a phone. And I can put it, have it pointing wherever I need it to point. So as you can see, I can really load this up with different things, battery holders, whatever I want to with the clamps. And like I said, I can be mounting to the top of the rail, I can be mounting to the bottom of the rail, I can be rounding the side. And like I said, if I don't want to have all this stuff and I want to go light, I can take that away, and I'll have to adjust this, but I can just go with the rail in my hot shoe, and that could be facing me, or or I could have it facing the back. I can put it over to the side. Just so much flexibility with what I can do with it there. So I'll go ahead and take that down. Now I can take this a step further. That's why I said it's a real erector set of what I can do with it. Sometimes I want to handhold a camera, and so I want more control. I have this super long rail, and again it is Arca top and bottom. I can put two Arca clamps on here and have two cameras if I'm doing some kind of testing that would be beneficial that way. Or I can sit here and go ahead and put in, oh my cat's coming in, you can't see. Oh, hi sweetie. And tighten that up, and pretty much these Nato rails are as strong. Now I have a double handle. Go ahead and drop the camera in there. And of course, I'll probably want that monitor on there. And one of these is loose. So there we go. I now have a two-handed holdable unit, really strong balance, and so to me it's just this incredible kit of erector set parts that I can put together for whatever suits me. Sometimes I'll actually leave this base on it, take it off together, because that'll give me more of a foot for holding the camera. So that's that. And say I doesn't stop there, folks. Go ahead and take the monitor off there. Get around my cat. I also have a handle here, if it is open enough. And so there, I also can put a handle on it. So again, I didn't put together these parts overnight, and probably a lot more than some single things, but it lets me put together a little kit that is pretty powerful. Get this out of my way so I don't knock anything down, because you don't see it. Oh. But my cat Isabella has come to help me. So there you have it. That's my kit of parts. So it's using Nato rail, Picatinny rail, whatever you want to call it, Arca rails and Arca clamps, Nato rails, Nato clamps. Basically I'm using the Nato for all the small stuff up top, so I don't have to use big hefty Arca clamps, because they're just not necessary for holding those little bits and pieces, and then the Arca stuff for everything below. So it's become a great kit for me, and I can put just all sorts of different arrangements together for whatever suits me in a particular project or whatever I'm doing. So I hope you found that interesting. If it has, please give me a thumbs up or tail up. And if you can, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.